minis sees Daniel Parsons on pole position with Lucas Blanford alongside Tyler Lee and Jared Fox-Whiteley on the second row, Lizzie Mentia and Callum Foster on row 3. Row 4 then we'll see Isaac Parkinson sharing with Melissa Adrian, Lewis Goff and Addison Smith completing the top 10 with Harry Holland and Leon Barlow on row 6. Oliver Fabricius and Ben Horner on row number 7. Ah, what a relaxing pastime fishing is. As we, the camera goes all the way over the back of the track here at Lydd and picks up those two gentlemen, one fishing and one playing on his phone. They won't even know that we've got a camera on them. Although to be fair, the guy on the right on his phone may well be watching the live action from Lydd Kart Circuit on the Alpha Live channel. And if he is, thank you for joining us, as many of you have. Daniel Parsons then will lead us round in the 27 machine with Lucas Blanford on the outside, Tyler Lee and Jared Fox-Whiteley on the second row, Mentia and Foster on the second. It's a good start then from the outside, but it's not a good enough one for our starter. That's why on the overhead gantry you saw the green flag with the yellow V on it, the chevron. That is the false start flag, so we're going to get everybody back into the original order that they were. So Parsons in the 27, he's going to need to make his way through to the front once again. We're going to have to see whether I'm sort of just having a quick look at the first heat. Junior Rotax has finally been confirmed. We've had the 5-second penalties for Vilnius and for Jensen Mason, one for contact and one for breaking formation at the start. We'll have a quick look at any others as well. Just rattling through the heats here fairly quickly at the CKC JKC round number 4 as Tyler Lee takes a huge chunk of curb and drops back, and we're going to have another attempt at the start then in minis. So yeah, Tyler Lee there took a huge chunk of curb, dropped right the way back off the front row, and that meant the inside was just not able to get going. So false start for a second time then in our mini class. I think they need to slow it down a little bit on the way in. That double apex right does mean that the outside train does need to come all the way round. They have to go much further than everybody else. And then with that such a short run towards that line, they do need to make sure everybody is in a reasonable order. So we're going to have a third bite of the cherry then.
Attention paddock grab, all Honda cadets for heat 4. That's Honda cadets.
Parsons will lead them down then. The red, white and blue cart on the inside, Blanford on the outside of that front row. Seems to be much tidier in the tram lines this time. The lights are out, we're away and racing, and Blanford sweeps through, and Tyler Lee, this contact between him and Callum Foster, they're facing the wrong way. Luckily the entire pack misses them, but the leading duo have managed to break 3 as Mentia is through on the 27 of Parsons up into 3rd place, and now she's going to have to try and join on with everybody else as both Melissa Adrian and Addison Smith come cleanly through as well. So Callum Foster involved by going over the grass once again, and Foster with Tyler Lee this time facing the wrong way. Looks like Fox-Whiteley may well have got through into the lead there, just had a flash of orange potentially in front of Lucas Blanford. It is Jared Fox-Whiteley then leading the way as they come over the line for the first time, managing to get past Lucas Blanford, with Mentia then in 3rd, Smith, Adrian, Parsons, Barlow, Foster, Goff and Parkinson completing the top 10 in front of Fabricius, Holland, Horner and Lee. Not sure what we're doing with time at the moment up there, because that's certainly, we've not had 3 minutes of racing in that opening lap, so it is 8 minutes plus 1 in our classes, so not sure whether that's come down because we've had the 2 false starts at the beginning of this race, but we'll see whether that changes when they come over the line. We see Lewis Goff trying to make a move down the inside into the double right on Callum Foster. Does get to the inside, but Foster gets much more drive round the outside of the corner and does manage to hold on, but then bounces over the curbs. That's going to unstable the cart. Jared Fox-Whiteley leading the way then, has a quick look over his shoulder with Lucas Blanford still behind. Lizzie Mentia is around about a second off, but if these two start battling and it's not as clean as either of them would like, Mentia is going to be right on the back there after that double race win, so we know she's got some pace. Goff still trying to find a way past Callum Foster for 8th place. In front of them, Daniel Parsons as well. Foster is going to defend to the inside. Will he carry too much speed and allow Goff to get a cutback? Although Goff not quite close enough round the final complex of corners. Leon Barlow has moved up into 6th place at the expense of Daniel Parsons. And Oliver Fabricius moves into the top 10 as well, with Isaac Parkinson dropping down into 11th place. Fox Whiteley still leading the way by 2/10. Mentia closing in ever so slightly on that previous lap as well. And now we've got Foster trying to go down the inside of Parsons. Goff's going to go round the outside as well with a great move, taking advantage of Daniel Parsons having to go tight, and now he's going to go down the inside of Callum Foster into the double right. Foster's going to try and get track position and move back to the inside. Fabricius rolling to a halt over start finish. He's got a problem, pulls his car off to safety, but Oliver Fabricius looking back at the engine that's just not going anywhere. Foster and Goff still battling it out with 3 minutes remaining. Parsons still behind. Goff's going to try and get to the inside. He will have track position this time into the chicane on Callum Foster, into that back chicane, and through he comes then. Finally makes that move then up into 7th place. He crossed the line in 7th, but Foster was right with him. If you look at the 2 times, identical. They came over the line side by side, but now Goff has managed to find a way through. He's going to have a gap of around about 1.5 seconds, I think, to Leon Barlow in front that he's going to have to try and reel in. And Barlow's personal best gets cleared from the screen. We'll find out what it is for them. And they've got almost a full second then for Goff to try and reel in on Leon Barlow in the remaining 2 minutes 20 and 1 lap of this heat number 3 for our Mini Max class, as Harry Holland there on the back of Isaac Parkinson, with Ben Horner coming along as well. Tyler Lee trying to recover in 13th place after that spin on the opening lap, as you see Addison Smith and Melissa Adrian out of the final corner, bouncing over the curbs there, nose to tail. 2/10 was the time between the 2 leaders, although Blanford appears to have closed that one up, certainly on the brakes into that second chicane. Mentia, though, is chipping away and is now to within 1/2 second of that leading duo, with Adrian and Smith in their own battle for 4th and 5th respectively behind. And they've got a gap of around about 4 seconds to try and close up on this one, but I'm sure that they're preoccupied in their own battle for 4th. Over the line they come then, 1.5 minutes remaining. Fox Whiteley sets the fastest lap of the race and the personal best at the same time to open up the gap to 3/10 from Blanford. Mentia, though, is the driver on the move, chipping away at Lucas Blanford in front, who's had a difficult weekend of racing. He's damaged his ribs earlier on in the week in practice, and is certainly driving through the pain, through gritted teeth, but he's holding on to 2nd place at the moment from Lizzie Mentia. But now, will the focus be on Jared Fox Whiteley in front for the lead, or will he have to focus on defending? The position that you never ever want to be in racing, if there's 3 of you, is the one in the middle, because then you've got difficult decisions to make. Do you attack? Do you defend? And as Blanford bounces over the curbs there, every time he does so, it's just going to cause him so much pain, but he's battling on through in 2nd place. Did close the gap on the previous lap to Fox Whiteley. Has a quick look over his shoulder though at Mentia behind. Knows that she's not too far back, as we've only now got half a second splitting 3 cars at the head of this pack. Fox Whiteley will come over the line this time, and he will not. Blanford down the inside, late move on Fox Whiteley for the lead. Came from 2 or 3 kart lengths back. They're going to have at least 2 more laps in this one. Came over the line with 25 remaining, and Lucas Blanford from 2 kart lengths back just dived down the inside of an unsuspecting Jared Fox Whiteley and takes the lead. 1.5 remaining then in Mini Max, as Jared Fox Whiteley closes in on the back of Lucas Blanford. Little tap into the rear quarter of the 59 kart in front, so certainly carrying a bit more speed than the race leader into that bottom hairpin. Onto the back straight they come then for the penultimate time. 2 kart lengths back, Fox Whiteley. Can he do to Blanford what Blanford did to him on the previous lap? Not quite close enough. I'm sure Blanford will defend that far more venomously when it comes to the final lap. Mentia, though, the fastest lap of the race with a 38.7. She's now joined right onto the back of this, and now there's Blanford defending from Fox Whiteley into the 2nd chicane. Run up to the hairpin. Blanford, White lines it to the inside and then sweeps across on Jared Fox-Whiteley in there to try and put Fox-Whiteley off. Mentier's going to try and take advantage as well. So Blanford there with quite an aggressive move up into that top hairpin, sweeping across the track at Jared Fox-Whiteley. Not sure Fox-Whiteley's overly impressed with it, but Fox-Whiteley now is going to try and get it. Blanford hard on the brakes into the double apex right. They're going to be 3 wide over the line. Blanford holds off from Fox-Whiteley. Mentier in 3rd place. Smith and Melissa Adrian on the final lap gets taken by Lewis Goff for 5th place, who did close up on the battle in front of him. Barlow in 7th in our mini class. So an intense final lap on for our mini max class. Should be enough though to put Lizzie Mentier on pole position for the final with 2 heat victories and a 3rd place as well in the collective of points in that mini class.